Hello everyone, Spectre Senence back here for a continuation of Mind of the Spectre. I'm going to veer the title from Mind of the Spectre from the Xbox avatar to more or less a vlog for what basically is going on in my world and how it connects with the other Spectres, but more or less basically what I'm doing. This way I can kind of keep a video content for those people that have been really following me and keep you a little interested in what's going on, and very much like what's going on there on the YouTube internet right now. If you're interested in more or less 40K and a lot of other stuff that kind of goes on with the aspect of that, so I'm going to try to cover a lot of those things and kind of move forward into aspects of what I'm basically doing, what's kind of going on in that community, things that have caught my interest, and a lot of aspects like that. So pretty much we'll start first with on the table. What I got going on right now? Well, for those that have been following me, I really finished the Dark Eldars. The quality of Murnus Vitae has been finished, so you can see that on the showcase that I have out there. And I was able to put a battle together for them. I have a bat rep with that going on, so uh, character bat rep episode 4, I believe it is. I'm going against one of my good friends, Dave Brewer, so you can check that out. So with the Dark Eldar pretty much done, and I put 2,000 points of that together and painted. Kind of moved on one of my other armies. A lot of you earlier followers of Spectre Studio, Spectre Senence, the YouTube channel, will notice that I was really moving forward with the Tyranids. That was a big thing. So I did a big Tyranid Codex review because I've had, geez, it's got to be 20 years of experience with the Tyranids. So going around the video, I was really surprised that about a month or so ago, um, the Boneswood Lash Whip combination that was released as a sprue, no one's talking about. And it really shocks me because I couldn't wait for this to be made. I was trying all kinds of ways to really try to figure out what I was going to convert, and it was very difficult, and green stuff, and then just trying to get the right look of the bone sword. Um, and I was just thrilled when I finally was ready to move forward that the GW released this sprue. And immediately I knew exactly what I was going to go for. And you've noticed as I pick up the model, it's the Shrikes. Really, I mean, the Warriors, with walking and slogging across, they're going to get pounded. But Shrikes give you the speed and mobility. If you want to hit hard and hit fast, and that's pretty much my playstyle, the Shrikes are the way to go. Now I've got 3 on the table that I'm pretty much putting together and painting. But I really have a chance to convert 6. I'm going to take off the Rending Claws, if you remember the ones from my showcase, and get these Lash Whip Bone Swords on. And I think with a Hive Tyrant with preferred enemy, you can really mess some up Death Star units because you're going to knock them down to Initiative 1. Grey Knights with Nemesis Force weapons, the Halberds, they're going to only be striking at Initiative 3. So you've pretty much secured your Warriors. These Shrikes are going to go first. Then you're talking Power Weapon with their strength. Get a Furious Charge next to them if you got the Swarm Lord kind of kicking off, or if you want to go with the extra points for the Adrenal Glands, but you definitely want to be taking the Toxin Sac. That way you're always wounding on force, and get that wounding in. You should be able to get the reroll, so you go from 50%, should be matching strength, moving up to 65, 70, 80, almost 80%, depth. And if they're multi-wound creatures, roll leadership. It's that depending on their leadership value of that, but more or less you can insta kill. You have the capacity to insta kill with this force. So against Death Star units, this is a dangerous group for them to run into, and that puts a lot of pressure on that. And I really, really think I like that. And with Tyranids though, you gotta look and go, come on, Spectre Senence. See, now they go from armor 4, 4+ save to a 5+ save, dead, insta kill weapons, and getting this water. Very likely, yes, in per aspect, but if you've seen my Tyranid playtesting stuff, you gotta know how to protect. And I've got Sky Slasher Swarms already from Forge World, very similar to the wings that I've got out of these guys here. Plus the gargoyles, now the cheap gargoyles, Gaba plates, really protecting these guys, really adding the extra punch that you may need. You don't want to go too crazy though, because you don't want the backlash of people just killing the gargoyles in a multi-assault with these shrikes. You really want to let the shrikes and the hive tyrant with wings be the component to play when you don't want the other stuff in there, because that's where these guys will run a problem. But if you can pull that off, let the shrike, the gargoyles take a lot of bullets, then let these guys do this, the close call assaulting. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really put out. Um, on the table, well, I picked up from Forge World the Meiotic Spore. I hope I'm saying that pretty much right. Some interesting models there. It's kind of like a better concept that um, GW had on spores in the earlier editions, third to about fourth. Kind of dropped off on fourth, but third edition, second edition, really the spores were really the centerfold of the real true concept of the Tyranid fluff, where they saturate the planet. These spores pretty much are causing poison and toxic damage and killing off humans. Really before these organic soft Tyranid models pretty much hit the planet. So it was something cool. It wasn't, I was picking up a lot of the Apocalypse books. It was a nice little addition added in that. Of course, these are all on works right now, so some fun stuff. My biggest chant moving over to the Tyranids is, if you've seen my army showcase, you remember the old Armor Cast Exocrine model. And I have now moved forward to getting the brand new Tyrannofex guy. So gotten some flesh on a little bit, but I haven't gone onto the hard shell and put that in here. And a lot of players are going, quite the investment, Spectre Senence. You had something that looked pretty good that you're using for this run effect. Why? Why is pretty much the size of the model, and if I get back into what you're looking at. So this is a warrior, pretty much with the Shrike concept there, and you can already see the size aspect, with what's going on with that, and that's pretty much the psychology that I play with. I just thought the model was awesome. It's a beautiful looking model, in that aspect over what I was using anyways in that regard. And the size of the model, the sheer height, is definitely something that's more beneficial to Tyranid players. Why? Because you really can hire the monstrous creatures on it. Your Hive Tyrant has a home right on his little behind, moving at that and getting the save. He's got a 2+ armor save. Now you have a 4+ to give to any of the creatures you really can have behind it, and I can give him a little help with the Venom Thrower. So really a great concept model and a quick aspect here. So that's really what's on the table with that, and I really am suggesting you Tyranid players, it's worth the high price dollar tag to get these Golden Swords Lasher. It's phenomenal. I have a couple of other little models that I've been using for the Grey Knights. I've been kind of like changing up some of the special characters and the henchman thing, not really doing Paladin, Drago Wing, and stuff like that. So I've got a little tools in that aspect there. But that is what Spectre Senence has on the table. Alright, this next part that I'm basically going into the Spectre sector will basically be what's going on in my community. One of the biggest subjects that's going on. We're preparing for the Standish standoff. I participated as a judge last year. We had the April Assault earlier, which was a halfway kind of concept point of that. We're heading into this big event, which is a big celebration for hobby and everything that's done at Crossroad Games and Standish Maine. The biggest subject has basically been comp, and this is where I want a lot of people to start looking into Mind of the Spectre and putting comments below that we can really build on an episode and really come back to the discussion on top of this. The biggest thing with comp is it's aimed at the net list. What are net lists? Apparently these are like something like Drago Wing, Space Marine, Razor Span, where Grey Hunter, Space Wolf, Razor Span, where low amount of troops, very small amount of troops using Las-Plaz Razorbacks are dominating tournaments. These are basically tournament successfully winning lists. There are a lot of players that put out these game winning lists. They get copied. built, applied, go to another big tournament, and they finish, in the top categories. So these net lists are what comp is aimed to discourage and not really allow to be successfully built to win overall in a tournament. So with that in mind, where do you guys feel the comp basically is? Does it discourage you from playing? Do you take 40K as a competitive tournament that's what you look forward to? You have a game system, much like chess, that you can go and apply and see how much of a strategic general you are. Or do you like the hobby? You got in because you like the way the Space Marine chapters were built, the concept, and you want to go and purge the enemies for the Emperor and the Imperium, and you like the stories and you like certain different models, and that's what you put. You don't care how many times this model dies. Um, you bring him into the fight, and you hope for the best, and you try to do what you can, but you're here to enjoy it. And I've got quite a few armies in the same concept. When I want to build a list that really destroys, my Tyranids use it not to play. But kind of like leaned away. When I was young, where my Tyranids were my earlier army, I really played to that type of style. I want to win. I'm playing a tournament. I enjoy that. However, I'm older now. It's actually my birthday today, turning 40, and I don't really have that type of drive. I want to play a good game. I want to have a lot of fun. I just like my army to do some good things, have some fun. But I don't mind them being destroyed and them being wiped out by some cool stuff. And so I've built the Dark Elf army to have a lot of fun. I like the theme, I like the storyboard that I kind of put it, and I'm looking to put a lot of story behind it, going into storyboard-based bat reps. So I'm curious of how you guys think where you would go with comp. Would you deter the tournament style of competitiveness, or do you want, I don't care, I don't want to really have the hobby aspect, or is that what you like? You're determining these net lists to build a hobby event so people can come and play a fun, fair game, or are you it's about the best of the best? I'd like to hear your comments of that, and I'd like to see you guys continue to follow me in the part 2. I have a couple of the subjects we're going to talk about, and we'll really get into what's going on in the world of Mind and Spectre. Thanks.